Hey everyone, welcome back to Coastal 101. I'm John Kelly, and today we get to make shepherd's pie with our cooking expert, Jaleh. Jaleh, welcome back again.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So, this is one of my favorite all-time dishes, with a last name of Kelly, it should be. So, now that we're using this cast iron, what's the first thing we need to do to get this pie going so I can eat it?
Well, remember how we talked about seasoning it with some
Yes.
pork? This is what we're going to do. We're going to saute some vegetables by giving them some grease, which is just putting some Italian sausage into it first.
Okay.
I bought about a pound. It's all by feel. If you don't like it, use less. If you like it a lot, use more.
Okay.
And so we'll just let that cook up for a minute, and then we'll add our vegetables
Great.
to it. We're going to add some carrots, saute these mushrooms in with the meat. We have a little bit of parsnip. We have celery. We'll have some cheese on top of our potatoes at the very end.
Potatoes, yeah.
And just a little tomato paste for flavoring.
Okay.
So we're ready to add the onions.
Okay.
Add some more sausage.
Are you trying just to cover the bottom a little bit completely or not?
That's a great question. What I'm actually doing is eyeballing it. Yeah, we're going to add the mushrooms because they take the longest to cook.
Okay.
And we don't want them to turn into sponges, so we're going to try to get them in with the fat.
All right. Okay, so what's the next step now that this is kind of brown? We've got the onions, we've got the mushrooms, and we've got the pork. Now what?
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to dump in the rest of the vegetables and just bring them up so they're hot, and then separate them out, and then cook the rest of the meat.
Okay.
So this is just a real time saver.
Okay.
How about you stir, I dump?
Perfect.
Stir.
Oh, sorry.
Come on.
It's hard to find good help, isn't it? Yeah, no. Okay.
All right, we're going to let those soften just a bit.
Okay.
You ready?
This is for the celery next now?
You want to clear a spot so you can put it in the hottest part of the pan.
Okay.
Perfect.
That's interesting. I didn't know that you did that. So you get these cooking and then you mix it all together?
Yep.
Okay.
So just let it sit.
Okay, don't stir?
No, because now you cooled it down. So that's a really good point.
Interesting, okay.
And you know, when you're used to doing that, you don't stop and think about those little things.
Right.
But when you leave it thin down here, you can use your same pot because it stays hot with cast iron all the way around, which is a beautiful gift when you're cooking something like this and you're trying to do it. But if you just pull that back, not only do you help season your sides so nothing's sticking there later, but then the things that you're trying to cook quick and hot or flash cook almost, but not quite a stir fry. That gives you the room to do it.
Okay, so we've got the celery and the carrots and the pork, so what's next?
What we're going to do now is we're going to take this out of the pan because we've put all our vegetable ingredients that we're going to use in this.
Okay.
We're going to take it out, put it in a bowl, and we're going to cook all our meat real hot.
Okay.
This is probably the hardest part because it's heavy and hot.
So be careful.
But you just scrape it in there. That's about perfect.
Okay, let's lift that away. Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to set this aside now. We're going to add the meat. In order to do that, we're going to let that pan get good and hot again.
Okay.
We want a quick sear.
Okay.
And I'm going to add a little bit of butter since we already have all the sausage that we wanted.
Okay.
We might as well use the whole barnyard.
Okay, very good.
All right, I'm going to drop this in and don't stir until I tell you.
Okay.
Okay. We're just going to drop this in like hail. We don't want to drop it all at once because that cools the pan down. Okay, now when you're watching this, you can see it turned to kind of a steam instead of a smoke.
Yes.
That's a good time to add some more, so go ahead and stir it.
Okay. This is me stirring.
Now push it to the inside.
Where it's hotter?
Yep. Okay. Drop some more on you.
Okay.
Okay. And we're going to let this cook up, and then that should be enough meat. You can add as much or little as you want, but because we already have the sausage in there, we don't have to add quite as much.
So what comes next?
Next, we're going to create the gravy base for it, and we're going to let this finish browning, then sprinkle it with maybe a tablespoon of flour, and then when we add the liquid from the vegetables, then a little more, maybe even half and half back into it for a creamy stew base. It's going to thicken up into a nice gravy where it'll come to a simmer and be ready to be topped with mashed potatoes and go in the oven. So John, while you stir, I'm just going to add about a tablespoon of tomato paste to this.
Okay.
And what that's going to do is give us a good rich flavor.
Great.
So while you get that mixed, I'm going to pour in, roughly a cup of water with just a little bit of half and half in it.
Okay.
And by a little bit, I mean maybe 1/8 of a cup. All right, we've got our oven going at 400 degrees.
Okay.
And we've just added a little bit more water and
Yep.
half and half. So I think that takes us up to about 1.5 cups of water, maybe half a cup, a half and half. And we're letting that just come up to a simmer until it gets more
Looks like it's
gravy-like.
starting to do that. Yep.
I'm gonna add about, almost a tablespoon of soy sauce. And that's
Okay.
gonna add salt and flavor. Okay, stir that in for us.
It's exactly 1 tablespoon, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I have the wiggle down.
I know you
how
do,
many
yes.
wiggles it is. Now we're also going to add a little bit of Worcester,
Okay.
and that just brightens the flavor a little bit.
Okay. I have a feeling this is going to be just right.
So it's come up to about a thin gravy.
It looks like it, yes.
And catch the edges all the way around.
Next, we have to add the vegetables and the meat. Is that right?
This should still be hot from what we have, and so we're going to add this in
Okay.
and just save all that time of roasting it.
Okay.
So we'll add that whole thing back in. Try to get every lick of liquid that you got, because that's flavoring.
Is this thick enough, or is it too thick?
I think it's actually fine as far as thickness, but it looks like you're going to be wanting a little more gravy once you cut into
Okay.
it. So let's just add a little bit more half and half.
Okay.
You could use milk, 1%, water, chicken broth, vegetable broth.
Okay. Man, this is looking good to me.
Okay, let's turn off the heat and add the topper. I used instant for this, but it's
Okay.
awesome to use instant if you get a good quality one, because when you're camping,
Yep.
who carries all those potatoes?
Very good.
So this is a great way to use leftovers or take it for camping.
Okay.
And I'm just going to lay it on the top.
Okay.
We're just going to put these dumpling style
Okay.
all over the top. It's all right if the gravy pokes through.
Okay.
It's not an exact science. I don't want to
Beautiful.
submerge the potatoes, but I don't want them just all laying on
Right.
top, because I want there to be a layer of mashed potato and gravy mixed in there before
Gotcha.
you get to the vegetable. So at this point, we'll sprinkle on the cheese,
Okay.
because that tells us that it's hot enough all the way through to have melted the cheese. This is as much or as little as you like.
Okay.
I'm going to just put a little bit of dill on here, mostly for color.
Okay.
And just a little bit of basil, just tearing a leaf up.
Okay.
And I try to save some. This is tarragon I'm putting on now, but I try to save some of the herb, so when it gets done and melty, I just add another layer of those so it looks nice.
Okay.
So we're ready to go in the oven. If you wouldn't mind opening the oven,
happy
we'll get
to.
it in there.
Okay.
Oh, this is hard to wait. It smells so good.
Certainly does.
We'll wait for that cheese to melt and we'll know we're done.
You know, and we've really done way too much talking. Could you please serve me up something?
Sure.
That'd be great. So, thanks everyone for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.